Hello and welcome to today's historic best of 3 deck tech and gameplay video on Bant Adventures. Bant Adventures is basically the Bant version of a previous Temur version of an adventure heavy list that I used. This time, the card that really spawned this deck was Gorion Wise Mentor, which besides being an okay body is basically just a lucky clover on a body. So, as a result, we want to just play loads of adventure cards with either the Lucky Clover and or Gorion out to get a very high amount of value from our various adventure cards floating around. Anything from Beanstalk, Giant, and Brazen Borrower, and the adventure category, and then weird adventure payoff cards. Anything from your Edgewell Edgekeepers to your Sentinel of Lost Lores to get additional copies or draw cards off of them. Basically, we want to play... Oh, hi, sweetheart. We want to play our adventure cards and then play just loads of the good creatures. Or, it's not always good creatures. I forgot about Virtue of Loyalty. But basically, you want to play as many copies of adventure cards to just try and grind out a lot of value. And this deck really plays, more like almost like a tempo-y deck. But as a result, it sort of lacks the aggression that the red... What, banana? It lacks the aggression and the finishing power that, red would bring in the previous version. But it's still a fun list. So, besides all of that, our land base is pretty self-explanatory. Running some Sparus headquarters and then just general lands that, fit our color pie theme. Just mostly shock lands, but we do have some pathways for some nice color fixing. And just little tech lands here and there. Just for various bits of value that we don't already get from our respective adventure cards. Sideboard, also pretty self-explanatory. A couple Selfless Spirit against the sweeper heavy decks, or even just the removal heavy decks. Thalia for non-creature spells. Way to hate on them. Scavenging Ooze for graveyard. Carnage Tyrant against the counterspell heavy from anything from blue-white control to the Demir Rogues of the world. Jaheira Harper Emissary for artifacts and enchantments. Supreme Verdict, because even though we are a pretty board-based deck, there are decks like your Elves and Goblins of the world that can just go wider than you, so you need to be able to have an answer. A couple of Frilled Mystics for if we need to sort of go tit for tat and we need to counter really important spells, if we feel like we can't deal with them when they resolve or hit the board, or sometimes you need to counter spell. It's not that exciting. And that is the basics of the list. The deck is pretty self-explanatory. Besides the land base, in terms of budget, as long as you have Gorion, Edgewell, Innkeeper, and Lucky Clover, you can really kind of tailor the core of your adventure cards to whatever you happen to have in your collection. So, it's pretty budget-friendly. And that's all I can really think about for this particular video. We'll go ahead now on to game number 1. But before we do, don't forget to like the video if you like it, to subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And if you do have some sort of questions, like I don't have X, what about Y, or other generally nice or constructive comments, go ahead and leave them down below, and I'll do what I can to respond to all that I see. Now, with all of that out of the way, now we're on to game number 1. And game number 1 with our little Bant adventure list. Go ahead and play first because we have a brain. And this is honestly pretty good. A little land heavy, but we'll take that. There's an argument being made. We could play the Giant Killer on turn 1, but we think we'll try and see if we can get some use out of the adventure. Just do a Sparus headquarters since we don't have anything else to do. His name's Tribal Tent. Nope. Okay, so they're gates. We might be okay against gates. We've only gone against gates a couple of times in this list. And it can go either way. So in that case, we'll just play a Lucky Clover and pass. Especially smart to keep the giant killer now, since we can get rid of anything from particularly large rams to primeval titans. Even what's the gate colossus. There are many big threats that we can get rid of. We'll go ahead and play an untapped land and pass. We don't want to shock open a land and like totally what's the word? Telegraph that we have some sort of interaction. I mean, honestly, we're doing kind of okay. Might as well. We can play that, right? Yeah. Might as well play the Skyclave Apparition, getting rid of the Guild Summit. Luckily, they haven't played any red gates, so we might be able to duck a Gates Ablaze for some time. Okay, well, that's less good. But to be fair, if we hadn't, they would have drawn 2 cards there, so what are you going to do? Honestly, the Sentinel is going to be pretty good for rebuying the Giant Killer. So I think we're just going to, again, shock land tapped and just try and bonk him in the head. This is not a particularly, aggressive opening, but this deck isn't particularly aggressive. Now, I have found in my couple weeks of testing that, okay, they've got the things. They're doing good. So not the card I thought would see play from this set, but yeah, it's like a perfect card for this deck. What? Okay, thanks for hanging out. Love you, cat. Okay, they have actually absolutely popped off in like the most heinous of ways. We are going to be in some trouble. It has to be said. They 1000%. They might actually have all the lands the gates they need, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That'll be 9. Okay, we're not there quite yet. In that case, I think we're just going to do probably a Seat of the Empire here, and we're going to get lost there spelunking. The least we can do is try and slow them down a little bit. Though the game has gone on long enough that the fact that they do have a hard win con in their deck really is going to come back to bite us, where all the value in the world doesn't matter if they pop off this turn with all their gates and kill me. Which does, this is actually a pretty good, oh yeah, that's lethal. That's fine. Let's see if they have it while I talk. But this game is a really good example of the weaknesses of the deck. In my experience, this weird, more like tempo-y, like cute stuff kind of deck just does not really work in Historic, it has to be said. And you're going to be struggling so hard with any version of Bant Adventures that I've been able to conjure up that you're honestly better off just like playing the Temur version that I did in a previous video. We're just going to go ahead and send this again. There's not much else we can do. Yeah, you're better off playing a Temur version of this list and getting access to the more aggressive tools that Red can bring to the deck, so you can actually close out games. Where this deck doesn't have the greatest ability to do that. Again, go first. Okay. Fine. What? Little meow cat, you left. I didn't make you leave, goofball. You can always come hang back out with Dad. I think we're just going to go ahead and do some Edgewall Innkeepers early on. And this detour is nice, but like, you know, it's not going to super help me here, but it's not going to hurt. Which is, you know, it has to be said. So in the meantime, we're just going to play dudes, try and, you know, chip and do bits of damage here and there where we can. We do have a Brazen Borrower, so we can bounce something. Although there is an argument to be made that almost... Oh, okay, well, there goes that. I was going to say, there's very little things we want to bounce. I think we'll just play a Temple Gardens and pass, which I don't like. Because the deck only really works, yeah, when we're, like, trying to... Okay, get that card out of here. Target a card. Graveyard stack, please. Spelunking. Be gone. But yeah, we just don't have, like, the aggressive ability to, like, close out a game reliably. Maybe in a slower meta, and one that doesn't have, like, this deck floating around, which is just, like, a hard combo kill, there's, like, an argument that it can work. Immediately bounce that. Or this deck could work better in a slower meta. But because there are, you know, more aggressive decks floating around, and this is the premier combo deck of the format by a mile, if you want to count that as a combo. But, like, unless you're in that really, really... I know I'm treading over the same ground here, but my brain's starting to glaze over. Let's go ahead and play the Borrower. But yeah, we just don't have the ability to close out the game, and we're not good enough at what we do to feel safe just allowing our opponent to do whatever they want. Because what they're doing is gonna kill us before we kill them. I hope all that made any kind of sense. I'm rattled and I'm short on time to record today, so I apologize in advance. Okay, for a spelunking, I assume. Okay, Guild Summit. That works. I actually think I want to get rid of the spelunking with the Get Lost. If he plays it. There we go. Get rid of that immediately. This way, the land they come into play won't... If they do get a land in play, it'll come into play tapped now. That isn't that much of a feels-good moment, but you gotta take what you can get with this list. And I really want this to be good. Like, and it's a fun list, but this... And I don't mean this in, like, a overly, like, derogatory or negative way, but Gorion is very clearly commander bait, and that's fine. Like, I'm sure he's a fun commander to play, but, like, in terms of, like, constructed, like, viability, he's sadly just not there, even if you want him to be. Because honestly, like, I started playing this deck, I started testing this deck when I was already platinum. If I had not been platinum and happened to be at gold, I genuinely do not think this deck would have gotten me from gold to platinum, which, and platinum's the middle point for newer players who don't know, to where this deck has a sub 50% win rate, to the point where I couldn't climb out of the bracket on the ladder that, like, skews the numbers already in your favor. If that's any indication of, like, the unfortunate, like, reality that this deck existed in. But in the meantime, they haven't popped off, and they don't have gates at, or Maze's End, and a sufficient amount of gates. Of course, if they draw, like, a prime time or something, it's gonna be bad. Or they just sweep my board. But we had to do that. Maybe if we get, like, a Brazen Borrower and bounce the tokens, that'd be nice. Although, I will say, though, this is my first white deck I've played since Get Lost came out. This is a fantastic removal spell. I mean, yeah, like, most decks will have some way to deal with the clues, but it's just, like, better than... giving them 2 map tokens is better... Hang on, what's the card? Giving them 2 map tokens is better than giving them, like, a clue token, or investigate, or whatever the hell it's called, in the terms of the white one from our last visit to Innistrad. Whatever that one's called. Sure, we'll do a Sand Augury from the Young Blue Dragon. That's not helpful at all. A little too late, but sure. We'll do a Sentinel of Lost Lore. And this interaction is fun and very interesting, but it's just like... If we were getting back a stomp, this could all have been, you know, say, damage going to face or to creatures, but, you know, we're only able to get, you know, cute little, like, value-generating things, but we're not able to, like, really advance things or, like, put pressure on our opponent. And, like, next turn we're going to Lucky Clover, and then we're going to Scry 2 and Draw 2, ooh, and, like, like nothing else. Man, I want this deck to be good. But yeah, like, since our opponent is just waiting to find the Maze's End to kill us. I have all this time to rag on this deck that I don't want to rag on, but I kind of have to. Oh, and the Horned Lock Whale. Another card I want to be good, but it's never good. It's just like, it's not quite there, sadly. Anywho. Lucky Clover. And then we'll do the cute thing of doubling up our card draw spell, and it feels fun and it feels good. Until they also... Adventures were... Okay, that's kind of good. Adventures were good were good at one point in time. Awesome. Were good enough at one point in time, I remember what I was trying to say now, that any even remotely experienced player in the format knows to kill one of these things on sight, because they understand the absurd amount of value that you could just get out of this card. So good on them that they know what's up with this. You just have to hope they don't hit it. It's not like fantastic. Cutest route. Okay, I'm just gonna bounce this now. Because now we just have to start bouncing tokens so we don't die. Not a fantastic place to be. We're gonna be honest with ourselves. I do need to add a spelunking to my version of this list. Because, man, it's a fantastic card for this deck. Yeah, they're seeking cards off their monocolor gates. Another spelunking. Yeah. My god. I mean, okay, we're alive technically, but they're running out of cards, so they're just odds are gonna hit it eventually. Sure, we'll do a Brazen Borrower because it needs to go now. I'm not gonna bother to do a Beanstalk Giant because the land is not that useful right now. I'd rather have the Brazen Borrower. There's not a whole lot of instant... Okay, no, they showed that one kicker exile thing, so they have some interaction in that deck. Guess we go ahead and play the headquarters here, and maybe we can get really lucky and eke out a win we don't, like, deserve. And I'll take those. I'm not that picky where I'm gonna say no to a free win. Okay, did they not have the ability? Okay, they've already did their seek thing. Okay, I guess we'll... Hang on, wait a second. I can just play the whale here. If they have a, what's the word? Gates Ablaze, then we're going to be in a bad time. Or a Tear Asunder. They can just, you know, pay through the ward and the kicker, so good on them. Okay, they've done all what they can do there. I guess now we play the Beanstalk Giant because it's sufficiently large. We might be able to, like, get cute with the win because they don't have that much card draw unless they draw... Okay, Escape to the Wilds will do it. No. Okay, well, there goes that. Okay, that's the case. Because they find it next turn and nothing I do kills them. With Prime Time, they go find Maze's End. Because with Splunking, they come into play untapped immediately, so they can immediately crack the Maze's End, find something, and then... I don't even think they have to find. I think they can fail to find with the Maze's End and still get the win trigger. Anywho. Sad performance from a deck that has honestly not done that good. But out of a sense of obligation, and so I don't waste the last 2 weeks of testing, we'll go on to game number 2. And game number 2 with our little Bant Adventure list. Go ahead and play first. This is a pretty good opener, honestly. 3 lands, 4 spells, some Lucky Clovers, 2 Lucky Clovers, and things to copy with said Lucky Clover. It's the Autobot ones? Okay. Oh, that's nice. The shields make the sleeve. Or, the sleeves make the noise of, like, the transforming action. So that's pretty cool. Mono Green Devotion? Almost certainly, which is fine. In that case, we'll play another Lucky Clover. And now with our 2 Lucky Clovers, granted green has a load of abilities to like kill artifacts and enchantments, so I'd be surprised if both of these stick around. But now we actually have a good ability to like respond to what our opponent's doing. Okay, Wayward Swordtooth. Playing lands. Doing things. Guess we'll go ahead and pass the turn. Upkeep, cast permanent spell, equal 1 plus the highest mana value of the permanent you control. If you don't, scry 1. Cool. I've not seen this card work, like, ever. It's like, okay, it's a green way to scry every turn, I guess. Oh my god, Gigantosaurus. Jesus. Okay, we're just gonna bounce their whole board. And luckily, at least, if nothing else, if our opponent doesn't scoop immediately, we'll actually... Well, hang on, you can't attack with this, right? He needs 10 or more permanents. Yeah, we're good. So yeah, we'll just Brazen Borrower, and with our extra copies, just bounce their whole board. Okay, you. Bounce you. And then you bounce the Swordtooth, which should give me the original copy back, which is nice. It's fantastic, yeah. Okay, we'll take those. Do much the same thing, honestly. Even if they take their whole turn to more or less do the same thing, we're in a pretty good spot, it has to be said. Our opponent is doing mono-green ramp things, which I applaud our opponent trying new stuff. And if they don't do really much of anything else, we can always just play the Brazen Borrower and start chipping away at our opponent. And are they just, yeah, mono-green ramp, which is 1000% respectable. It's like kitchen table all day long, baby, which is like peak magic, honestly. So yeah, we'll just play the Brazen Borrower. Go ahead and pass. Yeah, we'll do the Sparta's Headquarters so we have land. And again, we can just maintain our Skyclave Apparition for some interaction if we need to, but we can also Brazen Borrower or even Horned Lock Whale if they have some, like, green, like, I think some of the Vorinclexes, I think might have haste or something, is always an option. Okay, he has the City's Blessing now. I believe he can cast the Gigantosaurus, which is, I'm so happy that I get to say that. That's fantastic. Galdi, I think our play, I mean, other than we're not going to bother to bounce the In Search of Greatness, now we're just going to bounce their whole creature board. Like, yeah, they get to scry 1, but they're not going to have any permanents on board, really, other than the search itself. Oh, I fucked that up, didn't I? No, I did. My brain shut off for a second, and I thought I lost the source copy. Yeah, I guess we can actually Apparition away their Search of Greatness here. We don't have another cute little play with all of our Lucky Clover copies next turn, but we can always just get lost the biggest thing, which will probably be their Galta. Well, hang on, reduced by 5. 7, 8, oh my god, what? Huh. Whenever creature you control target the spell, this card fights with one target creature. Cool. Like, I guess. Hang on, wait a second. Is it a target of a spell? Oh boy, that's not good. That's really not good, because he's just gonna fight one of my dudes. But I think I still have to kill it. Okay, if I do, maybe not. Maybe we just let it sit. It's such a weird thing to say out loud, because we really shouldn't just let it happen, unfortunately. I think we're gonna play a Hallowed Fountain and pay the 2. We'll Apparition away their Swordfish. Just anything to reduce their board. Oh god, it's got Forgot it has Vigilance for reasons. But I think Vigilance is more of a... I don't think Vigilance is a Hydra-appropriate keyword, but they might not have a whole lot of options. Never a creature. Hang on. Never creature you controls becomes a target. God, I can't target anything with these, these things. Jesus. Okay, if I tell it to fight, what does it fight? Maybe I just leave it alone, weirdly? Okay, I did not think about this card. I misread this card entirely. Card is way better than I thought it was. And the Sword Tooth. Okay, I think we'll just play the Borrower here. We can Beanstalk Giant, sure. We get 3 lands, why not? Let's see, we'll do 1 of each probably. Granted, I should probably be a little more, what's the word, involved and like caring about what happens here. Hang on, is there any way I live? Hang on, can I just... what can I let hit me? Because the Galt is gonna suck, like, no matter what I do. So I gotta... It's such a weird spot to be in. I might actually... Creature you spell can't be countered. Cool, I wasn't trying to counter him. He can activate... He can... ooh, boy. Okay, so he doesn't turn on a land, which is good. Okay. Hopefully... Does he have to, or is it may? He has to. Okay, so I can kill him, because I'll target 3 spells. 3, 6, 8... Okay, so... Okay, we figured it out. We figured it out. So we'll target Galta with 1. Yeah, you're gonna physically have to fight other creatures. It's not a may. So I can use all 3 of my copies on the other things attacking. Okay, first one targeting Galta, second one Gigantosaurus. We are going to lose the majority of a board, which isn't great. It has to be said. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, then third one will target the Sword Tooth, I believe. Okay. Then when I target that, he has to target another one. Will probably be the Brazen Borrower, because that's like threatening lethal. Really, that is a choice. Well, okay, that doesn't give him blockers. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, this is going remarkably well as a showing for this particular deck, but I promise you, I don't think I've ever ran into a mono-green ramp that's this old school and kitchen table before, so... Yeah, no matter what he targets... Pardon? Is it May? Target of a spell... Okay. Think we... Hang on. Okay, do I want to block? Kinda do, don't I? Yeah, we need to block. To have it dealt with our opponent's board in such a way, like when I did not think we'd be able to, is a big enough of a win that we're just gonna, like, be happy with that. Oh, wow, that's pretty good, actually. I don't want to get lost. So, take 4 mana, number of enchantments you control. So he'd be better off just targeting the Hydra. Does it say non-land, or is it Target artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker under control. One last for each legendary. I think we're okay. Having 3, 6, sorry, 3, 5, 7, 9. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We might actually win this in some bizarro world-ass scenario, which we'll take. This is probably going to be one of those matchups where we bring in like a supreme verdict, because we can't rely on getting like this juicy of an opening to deal with our opponent's board. We just have to have like a panic button on hand. Okay, so then we do Odawara, bouncing the Lair of the Hydra. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's game. There we go. Hell yeah. Question is, what do we cut? Verdicts are coming in. We want to keep most of these. That's better. Detour's okay. Apparition didn't have a whole lot of targets, so maybe we get rid of one of you. And maybe like an... Honestly, yeah, a Beanstalk Giant. It's a little too cute. We're gonna probably have to like fight for the board more, and the Beanstalk Giant takes so long to get online that I don't think it's like a terribly wise move. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fucking awesome. Hell yeah. We didn't get like as banger of an opening as last time, but it's pretty goddamn close. Carry. Oh my god, correction. We literally have like a similarly badass opener. Hell yeah. 1 mana any color. If you control creature with 4, add 2. Cool. Totally fine. Do the Hall of Storm Giants so we can play Lucky Clover number 1. Oh, this is fantastic. Holy fucking shit, this is beautiful. I will say that the enchantment cycle of adventure cards, the only one I've had any sort of experience with is the Virtue of Loyalty, and so far it's done pretty good. Now whether it'll, maintain like that performance across the other colors variations, I don't know, but it is tempting me to like go back to like a teamer version of this list maybe, and like potentially add in more cards, though I don't know if I will. In the future, I will probably wait till we have more adventure cards, though that could take a long time. And even if this deck does do really good in this game, I really don't think I'll be revisiting this list anytime soon. It would have to have such a high density of cards that would basically, like, would be an entire rework of the thing anymore, which is just, like, not practical. Oh my god, we got 2? Fuck yeah. This is awesome. Green. Blue, green. Yeah, let's go with the green. Sure, we'll draw some cards here. Maintain some Virtue of Loyalties, or a Virtue of Loyalty and their subsequent triggers. Gladly take a land. Hornlock, Whale. Okay, that's like more cute control tools. I don't need another tap land right now. Another Lucky Clover. That's the $1 million question. I think we'll take one more turn off with a Lucky Clover. Yeah, I feel much better about that. Okay, a Wayward Swordtooth. Did have the extra one. A nice little addition in the monocolored gate. That's 2 mana tap, so what, 3 mana, like a... I think last game he showed he had a Cultivate? Nope, he's just pinging for the damage. Oh, well, that's fantastic. Do I need to telegraph? Yeah, I don't like telegraphing this much, but we have to. It's too good to not do. Next turn we can, or nothing else on their end step, we can always Virtue of Loyalty for a buttload. And still, like, maintain options. Okay. Yeah. I weirdly think I don't need to care that much. If he attacks with the Caryatid, we do activate the Virtue here. And now we can save our Hornlock Whale's Lagoon Breach for, like, more substantial targets. You know what? Maybe we will just giant kill down both of these. We're not going to get a whole lot of targets off of the other ones. Okay, do I... It's May, right? I think I can... Or do I have to cast it? You may choose a new copy. Can I decline? I declined, didn't I? Okay, I was convinced I said decline there, but sure, I'll just lose that card for no reason. In that case, I think we'll just go ahead and play the Virtue of Loyalty itself and start attacking with a very big board. Even now, man, Lucky Clover interactions with the copies absolutely melts my brain sometimes, and it doesn't do what I intuitively think it should do. And I don't know if that's Arena being weird or my own ineptitude as a player. Granted, probably the latter. We're in a fucking fantastic spot, it has to be said. Like, dear God. I wish there was like a good signpost, like Naya adventure card. Because I think... Okay, they were fine. They didn't need to scoop that. Like, at all. Now, granted, I was going to giant kill it, even if the copies got weird, regardless, next turn. So he was going to die, but he didn't know that. But sure, we'll take that. A win and a loss for a deck that I expected to lose both games. Now, this game, while awesome, is not demonstrative of the usual experience of this list. The first game in this video, or the first match, if you want to be technical, is, in my experience over the last 2 weeks of testing, 9.5 times out of 10, you will experience the first game more than the second game. And if you're at that level, you're absolutely, like, bashing your head against a wall and hoping it'll break. But the trick is, your head will break before the wall breaks, like, every time. So save your time, save your wild cards, save your money. If you like, I mean, maybe if you like Gorion and Bant Adventures as a commander or like a brawl thing, then 100%, but like, don't waste your resources or your time into Bant Adventures in Historic if you play Historic. So, and finally, and I'll brush over all this again in the description below in my little write-up that I do for these. I do not think I will be revisiting this list anytime soon. Now, could I technically see myself doing it somewhere down the road? Maybe if we get like a crazy amount of cards to basically retool the whole thing. Okay, then, yes, but anything short of that, I think this will be the last time you see Bant Adventure. But anywho, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And if you have any sort of questions, like on X, what about Y, or other generally nice things, go ahead and leave those down below, and I'll respond to what I can. Thank you all, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.